Good morning. Welcome back to Passion World Talk Radio Network, a wholly owned subsidiary of Global Media Network LLC. Educate, enlighten, entertain, and let's not forget mindfulness. Today, we're bringing you a special report on Social Security. And the title of today's program is Social Security Myths, Misconceptions, and the Stake for the Future. Imagine a world where millions of retirees or potential retirees, disabled individuals, and survivors lose their lifelines overnight. That's the grim possibility some are debating as calls to shut down Social Security grow louder. But is Social Security, as Mr. Musk dubbed it, a Ponzi scheme? Are claims about fraud and financial ruin justified? Or are we being misled? Today, we're diving deep into the truth behind the controversy, the misconceptions, and what shutting down Social Security would truly mean. And as a recipient of Social Security myself, I am really scared because it's about one half part of my retirement that my husband and I worked our tails off all our lives. Something for you to think about and something you need to talk to somebody else who has a great deal of knowledge about finances and what you can do to help yourself survive your retirement years. What is Social Security and why does it matter? Social Security was created in 1935 as a safety net for retirees, disabled individuals, and survivors. It remains one of the most popular and effective federal programs. Over 70 million Americans depend on Social Security today. Interesting thought, if the current administration does annex Canada, what will that do to our Social Security system? Well, folks, absolutely nothing, because they may have something equivalent to Social Security, but not exact match, which is good news for the rest of us. Social Security is not a savings account, but a pay as you go system where current workers' payroll taxes find benefits for retirees and other eligible folks. Excess funds are invested in the U.S. Treasury securities, ensuring the program is backed by the full faith and credit of the government, recent government anyway. We already know what the current government thinks of it. We need to explain what is a Ponzi scheme. Don't go by the definition that Mr. Musk puts on it, his spin. He's from South Africa and a billionaire. What did he know? Somewhat similar to our current administration, who had 5 failed businesses. He went bankrupt in every single one of them. And this is the person and a billionaire who's going to be in charge of the money we earned all our lives to be confiscated to line their pockets. A Ponzi scheme is not transparent, whereas Social Security is highly transparent. legally set up, and its nearly 90-year track record of paying benefits. And you need to clarify with your senators and or congressmen what the program is facing for funding challenges due to demographic shifts. As long as payroll taxes are collected, Social Security will continue to pay benefits. Policy adjustments can secure its future. Now, when I was in the workforce, rumor had it that every time our government needed a sudden loan, they would dip into Social Security. A thought to remember, since they seem to do what a lot of people do when they're hugely in debt. They steal from one fund to pay for another fund. Now that's the Ponzi scheme. Bet you didn't know that. We need to address how to fix outdated or incorrect data that one finds in Social Security records. And this is what may lead to the misconceptions. We need to highlight the SSA's efforts to verify beneficiaries and to prevent fraud, highly reminiscent of the Medicare fraud that doctors once upon a time took advantage of, and some still do. It's a question of ethics and morality. You can't work while collecting benefits. Nope, that's wrong, though there are earning limits before retirement age. Benefits aren't taxed. Nope. Depending on the income that you receive from Social Security, some benefits are taxable. Social Security fully funds retirement. That's false as well. It only covers about 40% of pre-retirement earnings. What happens to our country and subsequent countries? Oh, yes. There's a ripple effect across that pond, every single one of them. First, it's the economic fallout. Millions of Americans would face financial devastation, leading to higher poverty rates, homelessness, and strain on social services. Well, we don't have to worry about the social services because the current administration is getting rid of them as well. Ripple effects would hit industries dependent on senior spending, including health care, housing, and let's not forget a lot of seniors do traveling. And with the tariffs firmly in place now, the travel industry via airlines is also suffering because the prices have gone up. You have to pay to bring your luggage on or in the belly of the beast. So, especially domestically, where's the attraction to take a plane? You're going to have to pay and spend your whole day traveling from New York to San Francisco. Why bother? Just come as you are, buy throwaway clothes, lay them out in the bed before you go, and leave. Put your medications in your pocketbook. I know that gentlemen do carry pocketbooks as well, so it shouldn't be a problem. Also, there's a generation divide of how people, the old versus the young, look at things. The younger generation might bear the financial burden of supporting aging relatives. While that option is out, if you never had children, or they're dead, or they moved away, or they just plainly said, no way, Jose. A shutdown could erode trust in the government and fuel intergenerational tensions. Well, we already have that. A healthcare crisis. We already have that. Prescription drugs are going through the roof. Many seniors, use Social Security to cover their medical expenses. Without it, access to necessary care and medications would decline, exacerbating health disparities. Well, that's no problem. Musk and the current administration want all the older people to voluntarily euthanize themselves to make room for the younger generation. Impact on vulnerable populations. Disabled individuals, survivors, and children of deceased workers would face heightened vulnerability, losing critical support. Well, that already happens when the man separates from the woman, gets a divorce, they die. Oh no, let's see, Social Security, well, they would be affected that way too. Emotional and social impact. Share personal stories of people who rely on Social Security. They're all over the internet. All you have to do is pick one foundation, and there's a story about someone telling you that without their Social Security, they lose everything after working 60 years. Tears at your heart. My mother used to threaten my brother and tell him, well, if something happens to Social Security, I will just be a bag lady and parade up and down in front of your mansion with a sign declaring, my son said no. She said, I'm sure the rest of the neighborhood would pay attention since they probably don't see very many bag ladies. Food for thought. Highlight how undermining confidence in the program causes unnecessary fear and anxiety. And if you have a chronic disease where stress hurts, well, you're in a pickle. Well, count me in. I am in a pickle. Sweet, sour, best kind. Dill pickles. Why the claim Social Security is a scam really misses the point, because Musk doesn't understand what the Jose moment is all about. You should acknowledge the concerns about the sustainability about the program, but argue that solutions like raising the payroll tax cap or adjusting benefits are preferable to dismantling the program. Is that like closing down more than half of the Social Security office and denying people the opportunity to use their cell phone or phone to call in to get information? Not everyone is internet or computer literate, guys. The people in the 80s and 90s class are not bothering, especially the woman, to learn this new technology. It has nothing to do in their world. Rather, their children, their grandchildren, and yes, great-grandchildren come in and help them. And if they don't have all of the above, then they're up the creek without a paddle, so to speak. So you're wondering what can be done. Policy solutions. Discuss feasible options to strengthen Social Security, like increasing the retirement age, which they've done, adjusting payroll taxes, they're talking about not taxing at all, or reforming benefit structures. Highlight bipartisan ideas. Well, that's not going to help. The current administration has all his goonies in place, so you only listen to one party at all times, which is the mark of an oligarchy or a dictator, depending if you're picky about a title. Have been proposed to ensure the program's longevity is getting to be like government shutdown. Every time one looms, everybody goes into panic mode, and the bad guys propose a solution or say, that's fine, let's shut down the government, while the good guys are paralyzed and aren't sure what to do. Your call to action: encourage listeners to educate themselves, contact their representatives, and join advocacy groups supporting Social Security reform. Now, the AARP has groups. Go look them up online, AARP or receive their newspaper, and they'll tell you everything you need to know, or call them up and find out. I know the saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. Well, Social Security is like that. If you don't go to the bother and the investment of your time to let the authorities, the government, Mr. Musk, current administration, your legislators know how it affects you, your family, or whether you have kids going to school overseas, then you have nobody to blame but yourself. The United States so far provides an opportunity for you to express your opinions. Express them. Open your mouth. I know every single one of you can yell, scream, and throw a temper tantrum. We've seen it many, many times on the news. So exercise your right to stomp your feet, clap your hands, and stretch your arms skyward, demanding to be heard and listen how you feel about shutting down Social Security. Closing thought. Social Security isn't just a program, it's a promise to our elders, our disabled neighbors, and our children that they won't be left behind. Remember, don't be left behind in school where they relax the rules for passing kids from one grade to another. Yeah, think about that. Let's not allow fear or misinformation to dismantle, to tear down, to get rid of, throw out the baby with the bathwater. One of America's greatest achievements. Together, we can ensure that Social Security remains a lifeline for generations to come. Thank you very much for joining us with this special report on Social Security is not a Ponzi scheme, and that Mr. Musk is the one who's misinformed and should be fact-checked. In fact, he should go home to South Africa and seize power over there if he's so inclined. Thank you for joining me this morning. I hope you have a terrific day and are looking forward to, well, if you live in the East Coast, a rainy weekend. Don't forget, we're offering a new service called Research Assistant or Conscious Research Solutions. Check us out, https://passionalworldtalkradio.com/services. Check it out. Sponsored by, check it out, http://AIwithlillian.com. Go over to the website, take a look at the demo that's provided there, read up, sign up for a monthly subscription. It's the cost of Starbucks plus a muffin or a salad or whatever you want to eat at that particular time of day and night. Have a great week. Bye.